Well, VET is definitely falling. How far is VET going to fall? That is something we're definitely going to take a look at today. I'll give you a quick synopsis on VET and the technical analysis of it, but the technical analysis is not what is moving VET right now. It is Bitcoin. So we'll switch over to Bitcoin in just a moment and look at the future of it over the next bit so we can see how that will affect VET. Okay, I am a holder of VET, so I was very excited to watch VET over the last week or so. I did make a video talking about how we had to get through this very critical area of 0.033 to 0.035. It's this level in blue. And as I zoom out, you can see that it definitely had market reaction every time it hit that level, and it held as support for some time once price got above it. And then once it fell below, price fell below it, it acted as resistance. And so that is a typical support resistance area that we can see is important in VET, even back here. Look at the top on the weekly chart, the top here, the tops here, even back in 2022, this was a critical area for VET. Well, of course, with delight, I watched VET break through that area and then take off. I was expecting it to challenge these most recent highs back here in December, but it went beyond that by a great deal, and over the course of about 72 hours gained 40 to 50% in VET. And if you are a holder of VET like I am, you were very happy to see that. Okay, since then we have definitely leveled off, there is no doubt. We're about to switch to Bitcoin and tell you why. Why is because Bitcoin has leveled off at this 52,000 area. It is currently struggling as it falls down to this level. And it's not only affecting VET. I can go to crypto bubbles. You see a lot of red. Bitcoin's down 1% as I'm making this video. And when I go to the daily, you clearly see a lot more red bubbles than you do green. And you're seeing ADA, you're seeing ICP. A lot of these popular coins are falling. Avalanche, so forth and so on. It's hard to find them on the bubbles. There's DOT. But as you can see, we see a lot of red. All right, so let's go back to this. That's the reason we're seeing this drifting down, if you will, in VET. And here's my explanation. I'll give it again for the new viewers. Now, as Bitcoin goes up, look, as Bitcoin goes up, like Bitcoin has been doing, altcoins tend to lag, but generally, if you're in a good project, and I believe VET is, if you're in a good project, altcoins tend to, over the few days after to a few weeks after, these altcoins will also go up. So this altcoin will be grabbed, this altcoin will be grabbed, and it's not all at once, it's over time. And there is the potential that something will happen like VET when Bitcoin is rising to pick up an altcoin and shoot it up a considerable amount, okay? But when Bitcoin levels off, as Bitcoin clearly has, the first things that give up is altcoins. Bitcoin is the fuel that pushes these altcoins up or pulls these altcoins up. And once you see Bitcoin leveling off, you'll generally start seeing a drift downwards, not necessarily a precipitous fall, but a drift downwards in altcoins. And that's what I feel like we're seeing today, yesterday really as well, but definitely today. Bitcoin has quit rising, and so the fuel is becoming scarce, and we're gradually falling in VET and other altcoins as well. So we need to talk about Bitcoin to see how we're going to frame the discussion with VET, because it is very important. You can see today we're seeing a big red on Bitcoin. Like I said, as now we're down about 2%. I think the bubbles actually measure differently and have a different start time than TradingView. But according to TradingView, Bitcoin is down 2% today. And we were down, as you can see this bar yesterday, about this time, we also had a red bar printed. Thankfully, that red bar reversed and finished green yesterday. Will that happen today? I have no idea, but it still shows weakness in the fact that we're continuing to push lower. And right now, if we break this level here of about, what's this level going to be? It's the tops of these wicks and the bottom of these two wicks. So that's about 50,300 to 50,600. If we get snugly below 50,000 in Bitcoin, we're going to see even more falling here in VET. There is the chance over the course of these next few days / weeks that we even come down and touched this blue level again. Now, I would certainly hate to see that, but it is well within the probabilities that we could see this back down at this 0.035 level, and then we would just have to see how VET would react there. Why do I say this might be happening? Well, let's go back to Bitcoin. It all has to do with Bitcoin now. You've got to understand Bitcoin to understand VET. Bitcoin makes up over 50% of the total market cap of VET. I don't know exactly the total market cap of VET off the top of my head, but let's just say Bitcoin is substantially larger. And so anything Bitcoin does is going to affect these altcoins. That's why we always go back to Bitcoin. Let's talk. Bitcoin archive, tweet. Bitcoin is up 37% in 21 days, okay, since January 23rd. Consolidation here would be normal. Have patience. Now, I do agree with that. Consolidation would be normal. If you look at the daily chart and you throw in an RSI, which I won't do here, but it's a fairly popular indicator, you will see we are in overbought territory as RSI is pushing higher. And generally, that calls for a pullback in the financial instrument. Not always, but generally. And I've talked about this in previous videos. We do have the halving coming up in April 20th, roughly. And the historical price action in Bitcoin before the halving is a run up, which we've definitely seen here. And then a 10 to 20 to 30% pullback before the halving. A 20% pullback would put us right here between 40,000 and 45,000. We tend to consolidate before the halving and through the halving, which would carry us, if I can get my mouse to work, carry us through the halving here. And then this, after a few weeks to a few months after the halving, is when Bitcoin takes off substantially and we enter the quote unquote bull run. So people are asking, the Wolf of Wall Street himself is asking this morning, Bitcoin is correcting. Is the pre-halving top in, or is there more upside to come, and how far can Bitcoin correct? Of course, he does not know the answer, but he is and has on YouTube talked about the historical price and is asking the question, is this as high as we're going to go before we experience this retrace that is generally happens before halvings? So he's asking that question, which makes sense since we've seen a run up. Here is the answer from Lady Crypto. Don't overcomplicate the next 18 months. Your job is to accumulate, hold, and take profit heavily in 2025. And I agree firmly with that. We don't ever want to see our coins fall. Certainly would not, as a VET holder, like to see us go back and test this level. After all, that would take away from the euphoria we all got to experience as VET increased 40 to 50% last week. So none of us want to see VET fall. But the fact of the matter is, if this is the top and we do fall down into this retrace that has historically happened, we probably will touch this blue area again with VET. But going back to Lady Crypto, we don't want to see our coins fall, but let's not be rash and let's not be jumpy and let's not be stressed. Our job is to accumulate, that is buy. So if you have some extra cash you're wanting to put into VET or any other coin, you may get that chance over the next couple of weeks. And then your second step is, once you are properly allocated, is to hold. We don't want to get fidgety. We don't want to get anxious. If you're a new crypto trader and you start seeing red, that's a part of the game. That's a very important part of the game you'll have to get used to. Crypto has red days and sometimes severe red days, but you still should be positioned in for a great year in 2024 and through 2025. And this is just the beginning. I do think that even sometime in 2024, we will look back at VET and see a 0.05 price as being a fantastic time to have gotten into VET or to be into VET. And so I see nothing but good things happening in the future. I do believe VET will increase over multiples this year, and I do believe Bitcoin will hit its all-time high and carry on beyond its all-time high in 2024. And we'll watch that together over the next few months. Thanks for joining. Subscribe if you'd like. I will keep you updated on VET.